Welcome to Unit 8, Cold War and Decolonization. Putting these short videos together to help give some context for what you're going to be dealing with in each of the 9 units in AP World History. And in Unit 8, you're literally picking up where you left off in Unit 7. It's honestly harder to chunk out time into clear-cut historical themes when you're only a few decades from something happening. The effects and outcomes and themes may not be fully clear. So Unit 8 picks up right where Unit 7 left off in 1945. Now, Unit 8 does get 2 topics in the same unit. Unit 8 is both about the Cold War and decolonization. So let's meet Unit 8 that runs from 1945 to present. First thing to know about Unit 8 is that it is a direct result of both Unit 6 with all of its imperialism and Unit 7 with all of its global conflicts. So it's split into the consequences of imperialism, aka decolonization, and the consequences of the global conflicts, aka the Cold War. The College Board starts with the results of the global conflicts, and with nuclear weapons now on the table, that means the Cold War. The Cold War was a 40-plus year standoff between the United States and her allies and the Soviet Union and her allies. You're going to hear a lot about alliances like NATO and the Warsaw Pact, or non-alliance alliances like the Non-Aligned Movement. And with no direct conflicts between the world's top economies after 1945, brace yourself for proxy wars. These are wars where major powers avoid World War III by fighting with each other's allies or by funding another country to fight against their enemies. There's over 60 proxy wars in this period. That's more than one per year. One of the goals of the Cold War for the Americans was to stop the spread of communism, but communism continued to spread. So you're going to have to focus in on the effects of communism in these new places, mostly China or even Vietnam or Latin America. The Cold War will eventually end with a whimper as the Soviet Union ends up collapsing in 1991 when I was in 5th grade, but they were on such a solid streak of L's that the 10 plus years leading into that, including the Soviet-Afghan War, the fall of Berlin, and the time we smoked them in hockey in the Olympics. The other half of Unit 8 will take you through the consequences of Unit 6's imperialism, and that means decolonization. This half of Unit 8 will focus on how these former colonies were able to gain their independence, and then what do they do once they gain that independence? Expect your teacher to split this unit evenly between the Cold War and decolonization. So there you have it. Welcome to Unit 8.